these thorns in the flesh, the language here is interesting. A thorn means something it penetrates with severe pain. And it works against your body. So people have speculated through the years what the thorn in the flesh is. I don't think it matters. What matters is what the thorn in the flesh is in your life. Now, let me tell you one of my visions. I've told you this before multiple times. When I was a high school boy, I got saved by Yorktown Baptist Church, little tiny church plant by the Southern Baptist Convention. And they took a bunch of us from the youth group down to hear Bill Bright speak. And Bill Bright spoke on a Tuesday night, and I gave my heart to Christ. And so I came home radically saved. My life was changing radically. I was a popular guy in the high school. So in the 2 weeks after I got saved, the youth group in that church became 4 times the size of the church. And so I was well known in the high school, and there was a lot going on there. But so I got the key of that little church from the pastor. And as a 16-year-old boy, I'd pace around in that Yorktown Baptist Church, and I'd seek the Lord. And I was hungry for Him. I wanted Him. I didn't want to be an alcoholic in my life. I didn't want to be a sex addict in my life. We didn't have those terms back then. I didn't want to be worldly. I didn't want that in my life. I wanted God. And so as a 16-year-old boy, you can picture it, going into my 17-year-old age, I'd walk around the auditorium, just walk around the auditorium seeking the Lord. And one time while I was doing that, everybody, now, that's the Baptist church. We're not charismatics. We're not Pentecostals. We all thought anybody that did that stuff, you're the devil. And but we believed in spiritual warfare, but we didn't believe in the gifts of the Spirit and that kind of thing. You understand? All right? So I was walking around praying, seeking the Lord, and I saw in my mind a delivery room in a hospital. Now, I don't know that they have those anymore, but for those of you young people, back in the day, pregnant women women getting ready to deliver would go to the hospital. They'd have a hospital room. And then when they were close to delivering, they'd take them to a special room where they'd deliver the baby. And then men could never go in there. And then after the baby was born, they'd take the mom back to the room. They'd bring the baby up later, and that'd be the first time Daddy'd see the baby. And those were called delivery rooms back then. As I was walking around praying, as a young man, I saw in my spirit a delivery room. And here's what I saw. I saw where they would bring the mom in. They had big lights there. They had nurses. They had doctors. But surrounding that room, there were spiritual beings. And the spiritual beings were all different sizes. There were big ones and little ones. And they were standing around the circumference of the delivery room. And there was one that was in charge. And when a baby would be born, that one would point to one of those spiritual beings and direct him to go to that baby. So I started to see, as I was praying in Yorktown Baptist Church, I started to see a demon of lust assigned to go into a baby. Then I'd see a demon of arrogance assigned to go into a baby. Then I'd see a demon of hate assigned to go into a baby. Then I'd see a demon of rebellion assigned to go into a baby. Then I'd see a demon of arrogance assigned to go into a baby. Then I'd see a demon of greed assigned to go into a baby. I'd see all these different things that go on in people's lives. The thorns in the flesh. I'd see leukemia go into a baby, or cancer go into a baby, or whatever. And I'm not saying every disease is a demon or anything like that. And I'm not saying every behavior is a demon. It was interesting, though. Some demons would go into the babies and other demons would be assigned to the babies because the believing parents sanctify a kid. See, so if the parent had a mother or a father or both that were believers, the demon wouldn't go into the kid. The demon would just hang around the kid. All right. So the influence was the same. The difference was proximity. All right, so I didn't know anything. I didn't know what this was. I wasn't raised in a charismatic church. We were raised United Presbyterian. We had nice suits. And so all of that was perfectly all right, but I didn't know what this was. All right, and I would see that, and then I started to realize just about everybody I had known, and here I am, a young man, 16, 17 years old. Everybody I had known, there was one issue. Like one kid would be super attracted to marijuana, or another kid super attracted to his mom's drugs, or another kid would be super lusty, or another kid would be all into himself. He was going to do what he could to build himself up and bulk up and be the hottest guy on the football field. It would become a compulsion. I don't mean normal adolescence. I mean, it would become a compulsion with him. Everybody I knew, as I thought through my friends, I thought through a perversion or a greed or whatever. And life started to make more sense to me because I realized that just about some people were assigned, I didn't even know this as a term to them. Some people were assigned failure. Some people were assigned rejection. Other people were assigned acceptance. I started to realize anything good or bad could be a curse. Because if you're super intelligent, that could be your curse if you don't manage that with the Spirit of God. If you're an idiot, that could be a curse if you don't manage it with the Spirit of God. If you're just average in mental capacity, that could be a curse or a blessing depending on how you manage that with the Spirit of God. And so all of us have life to live. That's my point. And every one of us are living in a spiritual dynamic. And I am here to tell you, there is a devil assigned to you to destroy your life. And if you don't address it with the power of God and the Spirit of God, that thorn in your flesh will destroy you and or your family. And the only hope to conquer that thing is for you to rise up in the name of Jesus and be the man or woman of God that God has created you to be. You cannot be a wimp. If you are passive, you will lose. Because I guarantee you, money or heroin or sex or arrogance or rebellion or whatever will get into your heart and snag you, and you won't even know it's happening until you're sunk. Because people don't fall like they're falling off a cliff. People slowly slip away. It happens slowly. You think, oh, I can do this, it won't matter. Oh, I don't need to pray, it's okay. Oh, I'm going to skip church this Sunday because the Broncos are playing. Oh, I'm going to do this. And your mind starts to get into worldliness. Then your habits start to get into worldliness. Then your children or something happens with the dynamic. See, it's a slowly slipping away process. It's very seldom does it happen like that. Nobody becomes a drug addict in a third of a second. They take a little bit and it feels good. Then they want to do it again. And then over a period of time, then they reach a point, then they say, okay, I'm never going to do it again. And then they can't never do it again.